As Gemma said, my name is Dr. Umran Ali. I'm here to talk about widening diversity in arts and media. I'm really delighted to actually share the work. I think it's really important, and some of the challenges and opportunities and some of the experiences I've had have been absolutely wonderful. So I'll start off with the idea. It originally started in 2013, and as all good ideas, it actually started at a bus stop, not in a meeting, not anywhere else. Basically, I'd seen that media consumption had been kind of increasing around us. YouTube, games, animation, journalism, media had exploded over the last 20 years. With that, Asian media in particular had kind of seen a huge growth, whether it be ZTV, whether it be Bollywood, whether it be, goodness gracious me, we'd seen Asian media on the news, on the TV. There was a huge explosion. But reflecting, having been an academic for 10 years here within arts and media, it was a very kind of strange experience seeing the growth of media, seeing the growth of Asian media. We didn't have very much Asian students on the course. So walking around the campus, for instance, in Adelphi, it was quite a strange kind of feeling. If you walk around the CSE campus, you see that the university is very, very diverse, and that's the wonderful thing about being at Salford. But yet skewed, certain populations are different. So I'm kind of thinking my own background, my own friends, my own colleagues, the majority of which are doctors, solicitors, lawyers, the kind of stereotype out there. Was there still an obsession with the STEM subjects? Was there a possibility of pulling in those students that were doing, medicine or dentistry back into arts and media? So as always, this idea kind of came up. Thought, well, okay, can I do something? Can I do something with that? I'm not going to bore you with stats, but two very, very important stats here. If you look at creative arts and design across the UK in terms of undergraduate numbers, we're actually in the top 5, so recruiting something like 140,000 students across the UK. So there wasn't a problem in terms of recruitment. Top 5, we've got the students there. But if you actually follow this up with looking at the ethnic minority students, if you look at art and design, we're in the bottom 5. So only something like 15% of students come from a BME background. In particular, if you look at British Indian, British Pakistani, British Bengali students, it's only 3%. So 3% of students, compare that to medicine and dentistry, nearly 20%, 17%. In reality, what that means, 1 in 30 students is from a South Asian background in arts and media. So for me, instantly, the stereotype was backed up by the stats. So given that, I thought, okay, what do I do? There's really a call for action. Okay, so given that there was what I sensed a shift in the horizon in the South Asian diaspora, the population, people wanting to get into arts and media, the current political and social climate, which I'm sure you're all aware of, there was a need to act. And coupled with this, I'd done some work working with white working class boys in South Cheshire College, in Salford City College, and I thought, given all those three things, actually, rather than waiting for an initiative or an objective, the great thing about being at Salford University is that kind of need and that call for action was enlightened and was actually pushed forward. So, click next. I made a phone call direct to the Vice-Chancellor, and that's the wonderful thing again of being at the university. Said, we have this Asian Media Awards, we have this initiative, this program that goes out there. Is there a possibility of us working as a university with the Asian Media Awards? Absolutely, yes. Can you organise a meeting? Okay, organise the meeting with the Asian Media Awards? Yes, absolutely, we can work together. So then it was a second gulp. Okay, now we've got the university, now we've got the Asian Media Awards, what do we do? So 4 years later, I'm going to talk about these 3 strands. We've managed to achieve what I think is a really outstanding kind of initiative. So we are premier sponsors, so we are sponsors of the Asian Media Awards, which I'll talk about. We run these diversity media workshops, so kind of mixing industry with alumni, with students, with people actually wanting to get into media, and are raising aspirations, exactly what Jackie said, really going out there into schools and colleges and actually giving stories. It's all about stories, it's all about examples, people that have made it, people have done it, their challenges and their stories, and actually going directly to the schools and speaking to them. So we did have a video there, so I'm going to try and place. This will give you a really good idea in terms of what the Asian Media Awards are about.
Being British is all about diversity. And I think this shows it, that we do care and we want to acknowledge people and encourage more Asians and people from different ethnic communities to be part of the industry. So it's brilliant.
Well, I think ceremonies like this are really important to celebrating where we've got to in terms of celebrating diversity. I also think it's really important for people to come together and talk about why we haven't made more progress.
I think the knock-on effect over the next 5 years is going to be huge. We're going to see a completely different type of person going into the media industry because of it. So we're absolutely there supporting the Asian Media Awards. Brilliant.
I think it's really important to celebrate success from all diverse backgrounds and show that, you know, diversity background need not be a barrier to being successful.
It's very important to get young Asians who want to get into the media to come through and say, yes, we are getting recognition. We are not alone out there. Nobody looks at us. That's very important.
Being in the media and in the press is very important. It gives us an opinion, and I'm really happy to see so many amazing people here. It's very inclusive that everyone you can see from different backgrounds coming and celebrate. Yes, I think it's wonderful. We need to do more of it.
So hopefully that's given you a little bit of idea. So the Asian Media Awards essentially were set up to really celebrate and champion Asian success within the media. But rather than just using this as an award ceremony, we used it as an opportunity to really champion diversity. So we've got the major players there, we've got the BBC and ITV, so it's not just an awards night. We used it to actually invite our local partners, so schools and colleges, partners from there to actually work with us, to actually attend with us, and to actually work as key collaborators. Recognition of their work. So we're working with schools and colleges rather than saying you stay on the outside, come with us, actually meet those professionals, meet someone from the BBC, meet Art Malik, meet Masood from EastEnders to get you in, to get him in for a guest lecture, which we managed to do. It was an opportunity for staff, as I said, with limited networks. So if you're working in a school and college, it's going to be difficult to get out and actually have access to those networks. So the university acted as a facilitator. We enabled those individuals with limited networks to really connect with people that were actually, had power and influence. We actually used it as an opportunity for our journalism, broadcast and media students to actually interview. They did filming, they did the interviewing, they did the editing. So actually a real core example of an ICZ brief. And some of the images, and again, as I said, this is a national level event, and it's absolutely amazing for the university to be a premier sponsor and actually be involved from the onset, from every single possible opportunity and avenue to be involved in the awards. So from the filming, from the interviewing, in terms of presenting awards. We had the Pro Vice Chancellor there, Paul Broster, the Director of Journalism, giving out awards, and Alan Walker spoke quite eloquently about throwing down the gauntlet to the BBC and ITV in terms of encouraging more diversity within the media industries. Pulling in our alumni, so this is Fiza Ikram, who was the former president of the Students' Union and is now working in marketing, an example that I take back to schools and colleges, saying that you actually can do it, you can have a career, and you can be successful. A few more images. So again, a wonderful opportunity is one of the teachers from Hopwood Hall here at the events, and said it was one of the best nights of his life coming here and actually meeting actors, meeting professionals, and actually feeling a sense of value to the work that he was working with us. So the second part that we had, so this was the second strand, was the diversity in media workshops. So this was inspiring through example. So what we did is we invited students in from schools and colleges, and we invited them for a tour of the facility, so really kind of hitting home what Media City, what it feels like, which is very, very different to the pictures and the videos. Giving them some lectures, some talks, some panel discussions. So we're actually having and bringing back in alumni and actually bringing in media professionals, actually direct and speaking with those students. Everything you wanted to know about the media industry, everything they wanted to know about their stories, how they got through, what their parents felt like, and how they feel now. If someone's working for the BBC or ITV, or if you're working for a major games company, and actually how the impact that has 20, 30 years on. So again, some of the images from the diversity in media workshops, and again, a real fantastic opportunity for students to ask questions, all the things that they're kind of embarrassed about, all the things that really want to know, with people that have made it, former alumni, people from the industry, writers, professionals, and again, using our networks to really kind of to develop that. This is not just about us, this is about kind of really growing that network across from our schools and colleges. I'll just click through these. And again, the last thing, which was raising aspirations. So this really is about inspire through action. So this was the identification of key schools and colleges. So we identified a few schools and colleges that had a high BME South Asian population, and essentially just going there, talking to them. So the first part was doing career fairs and talks, so talking about journalism, talking about games, which is considered to be something children play, and not recognising that it's actually a multi-billion-pound industry, talking about creative writing, giving case studies, giving names, giving actual people. I talk about one of my students called Wasim, who came from quite a deprived background, who went on to work for Rockstar on Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the world's biggest games, £1 billion in a week. Those real examples, those real case studies inspire students. If you have a short video, a slide of a student actually saying something, it really, really connects. Realisation that I had was parent consent was absolutely critical, especially within the BME South Asian population, of achieving students to move into those careers. So this is not a backwards community. In fact, you're dealing with affluent doctors, business professionals, lawyers, solicitors. Small arguments, the individuals and students I was speaking to wanted arguments to go back. I want to do journalism, I want to do media, I want to do art, but how do I say I don't want to become a doctor? Okay, so we were providing, I tried to provide them with facts and figures and with the reality of arts and media. It's a booming industry, it's growing, and actually there's an opportunity. Games development is a huge business. There's a viable career you can have. Journalism, if you feel angry about the media, is a viable way of readdressing that bias and engaging through fun. So, you can give talks, you can give lectures, that works, but actually it's about fun. So I do this one activity called 6-Word Stories, so based on Ernest Hemingway's For Sale, Baby Shoes Never Worn. So actually getting students to develop a creative voice, developing a voice through creative play. VR workshops, so introducing virtual reality technology and media and having fun and playing with it, and actually seeing what it is and what it means to play with media. Some of the schools and colleges we worked with: Leamington High School for Girls, Manchester Islamic High School, Hopwood Hall, Marsden Heights, and it's been fantastic, working with one school and college, and it grows, and another one contacts you, can you come in? Absolutely. And it's been an absolutely fantastic 4 years. So this is one of the some slides from one of the events that we run at Leamington High School. I did the table myself, I was quite proud of that. You can see the little U and the S's there. I thought it was a really nice little branding there. But again, really fantastic to go in and actually speak, from your own personal perspective, in terms of how I've worked in the game industry, I've worked in higher education, I've helped students from various backgrounds move into these industries, and actually there are no reasons, there are no barriers. It really is about kind of having the confidence and having the belief in yourself to really get up there and actually do it. And I'll finish off with the future and lessons learned, and really for me it sums it up with some of the kind of quotes that I received and some of the feedback, and one parent actually coming up to me and saying, I didn't realise how media had changed, I want my daughter to be a journalist now, what can I do to support her, what can I do to actually help her get in? And for me that was a really, really big thing to actually have. And the second comment, one of the students, oh my God, I'm going to tell my mum, when she realised, you can be a doctor, you can have a PhD in fashion or in practice-based research. She goes, I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell my mum I'm going to be a doctor in fashion. And she was absolutely serious. And for me, that was absolutely wonderful to say, we were part of inspiring a student to be that. In terms of Asian media, it's only going to get bigger, and thankfully the university is at the forefront of championing diversity in media. We still have a long way to go in terms of getting that 17.4% of students at BME that go for medicine and dentistry, but we will get there one day. And actually thinking, could we apply this, could we take this model and apply it to other underrepresented groups, BME groups in arts and media? And that, thank you, I think is everything. Thank you very much.